Good evening. My name is Kayla Quintana with the Fairfax County Department of Transportation, and I want to welcome you to this meeting to discuss the proposed service changes for July 2021 on Fairfax Connector. This meeting will provide an overview of the proposed service changes and allows everyone to provide feedback and ask questions. Before we begin, I would like to review some guidelines so everyone can participate and get the most out of this session. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded on YouTube and shared on the county website. You're welcome to submit questions using the Q&A function in the WebEx window at any time. That's in the lower right-hand side. And we will do our best to get to all questions while also ensuring that we get to all participants. Please do not use the chat feature to submit your questions. The Q&A function will send your question to all the administrators in this session and will help keep questions organized and in one place. If you are on the phone, please hold your questions to the end. We will have instructions on how to ask questions at the conclusion of the presentation. Before we start the presentation, I'd like to now welcome the Director of Fairfax County Department of Transportation, Tom Bashadny, to provide us with some brief remarks. Tom?
Good evening, everyone. This is Tom Bashadny. As Kayla said, I'm the Director of the Department of Transportation. I want to thank everybody for participating this evening. And we definitely appreciate your feedback on these changes that we're considering for July of this year. There's some important proposals here that hopefully will result in better bus service for numerous riders around the county. So thank you for joining us, and we welcome your input. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Stuart Boggs, who is going to run through the presentation tonight. Stuart?
Thank you, Tom. I'm Stuart Boggs, a transportation planner with Fairfax DOT Transit Services Division. Tonight, I will be providing an overview of the Fairfax Connector service changes proposed for July. Service changes include 10 bus routes, 5 of which are Fairfax Connector bus routes, which will replace existing Metro bus service, which is slated for elimination. The first route I'm going to discuss is Route 171, Richmond Highway. We're proposing a route extension to the National Museum of the United States Army. This would occur on weekends. The museum is located on Fairfax County Parkway, north of John J. Kingman Drive, and the museum is currently served by Fairfax Connector Route 334 on weekdays. On weekends, the museum stop would be served every 30 minutes by a bus. The next route is Route 422, Boone Boulevard, Howard Avenue. We are proposing to eliminate this route due to low ridership and the fact that it is duplicated by other service, including routes 462 and 467. Route 462, Loring, Navy Federal Tysons, serves Old Courthouse Road and Gallows Road, which is currently served by Route 422. This is a rush hour only route, and it would serve stops on every 30 minutes. Route 467, Dunn-Loring Tysons, we're proposing to add Sunday service and improve service frequency on the route, and also do a reroute to service Old Courthouse Road and Gallows Road. Midday, this route would serve stops every 40 minutes, in the evening every 40 minutes, and on the week every 40 minutes. Route 630, Stringfellow Road, Centerville. We're proposing a route adjustment west of Stringfellow Road. The route would travel eastbound along Centerville Farms Road and westbound along Leyland Road. The proposed reroute would not significantly impact the schedule or the hours of operation on this route. During midday, stops on this route would be served every 40 minutes. In the evening, every 60 minutes, and on the weekend, every 50 minutes. 703 Pimmet Hills would replace Metrobus 3T, would operate 6 days a week between West Falls Church Metro, and McLean Metro. During rush hour, stops would be served every 30 minutes, midday every 60 minutes, in the evening every 60 minutes, and on Saturday every 60 minutes. Route 715, Chainbridge Road, would replace Metrobus 15K. This is a weekday-only route with service between the George Bush Center for Intelligence in Langley and the East Falls Church Metro Rail Station. This route would also eliminate the segment of Metrobus 15K between Roslyn and Langley, which was previously eliminated by WMATA. During rush hour, this would serve all stops every 30 minutes. Route 803, Annandale Road, would replace Metrobus 3A, would operate 7 days a week, and would provide rush hour, midday, evening, and weekend service, and would also serve 7 corners on the weekends. During rush hour, stop be served every 30 minutes, midday every 40 minutes, in the evening every 60 minutes, and on the weekends every 45 minutes. Route 834, Annandale, this would be a rush hour only service operating westbound in the morning and eastbound in the afternoon. And it would replace Metrobus 29C and would feature some schedule adjustments to improve route performance. During rush hour, stops would be served every 30 minutes. Route 835, Rayburn Drive, Pentagon Express, would also operate just during rush hour. It replaces Metrobus 29W and would operate eastbound in the morning and westbound in the afternoon. And stops would be served every 30 minutes on this. We anticipate requesting Board of Supervisors approval of these changes in March, with service beginning in July of 2021. That concludes my presentation, and thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Now we'd like to open up the meeting for some questions. As a reminder, we ask that you please use the Q&A function to type your question for the moderators to read aloud. Again, please do not use the chat feature to comment or ask questions. If you are joining us by phone, please push *3 to raise your hand and ask a question. When it's your turn, the moderator will call on you and ask your question. And after you're finished, please push *3 to lower your hand. So I know it was a fairly short presentation. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I can see we have quite a few of you with us. So would anybody like to type in a question to be asked about any of the presentations? All right, great. So our first question is, I'm looking forward to the Route 835 coming online. So we are very excited about that too. Stuart, did you want to respond to that?
Yes, we are looking forward to implementing these routes because they will fill a gap that's being left by the elimination of the underlying Metrobus routes. So to hear that people like what we're proposing.
In addition to that, this is Tom Bashadny. I know that the Metrobus 29W hasn't been operating because of the pandemic, and so this will give us an opportunity to kind of reinstate that route, and so we are looking forward to having that opportunity.
So it looks like we have another question here from another participant. What would the fares be for Route 835? Stuart?
We would be using the same route structure as the original Metrobus routes, with the 835 route would operate at an express fare, and the return trip would operate at a local fare. So the 834 local fare, 835 is an express fare.
Any other questions for us? Or first, Mr. Boggs, about Fairfax Connector or any of how the service works? Don't be shy, it's only WebEx. There we go. Does Fairfax Connector utilize the Metro Smart Trip card?
Yes, we do.
Kayla, I think you have a question on the phone.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get oh, here we go. I got you. Let's see if I can unmute that person. Brian, can you go ahead and unmute call-in user 2, please, so they can ask a question?
Yes, thank you. I am also looking forward to the 835 route. A question I have has to do with the continuation of the pandemic conditions. If we get to July and the plan for initiating these route additions or route changes continues, if the pandemic is still going on and the vaccine rollout in Virginia hasn't been completed, are we still going to move forward with these routes?
So this is Tom. Yes, we are. We have actually restored full service on the Fairfax Connector. And part of the reason that we've done that is to allow for adequate social distancing on the buses so that they're not packed. But we are operating our express service to the Pentagon and to downtown. So it is our anticipation right now that all of these services would be transferred to the county on July 1st and would operate just like the rest of the connector system.
Tom or Stuart, would either of you like to talk a little bit more about what we're doing to protect passengers, including the bus operators?
Sure, I'd be happy to talk about that. So, when the pandemic set in the March timeframe, we initially cut back service quite a bit. But as we've restored, well, both then and now, we enhanced our cleaning protocols. And so we are wiping down things like handrails and the backs of, the hand grab on the back of the seats, the areas around the fare box, the areas around the doors, to make sure that that we try and limit any spread of the virus. All passengers and drivers are required to wear masks. And then we have just recently implemented driver shields to protect both the drivers and the passengers when passengers are paying their fare. So we continue to enhance those cleaning activities. We also are doing fogging of the buses in the evenings. So we're killing any germs that might remain at the end of the day. So each bus is starting out fresh in the morning, in addition to the detailed cleaning that is going
on. Call in user 2. Hopefully that answered your question. And if you would, just press *3 to lower your hand, unless you have something else you'd like to ask while we've got you on. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question that we have. Is the 835 route exactly the same? Excuse me. Is the 835 route exactly the same as the current 29W?
Okay, I'm going to defer to Reed, who's here. He developed the schedule and routing for that route. So Ed, could you answer that question?
Yeah, will do. Yeah, hi. Basically, it's very similar. We have more or less the same departures, except we're not doing the last trip either direction on the 8:35. So the very last one in the morning and the last one in the evening as well, we're doing all the other trips. It's the same, the same frequency, the same time between buses, the same route. We have the 834, which does the same as the 29W. So that's the reverse portion of it. If people want to go from like the Pentagon out to the college, they could do that. But other than, eliminating the very first, not the first trip, the last trip on each direction. So the last one in the morning and the last one in the evening have been eliminated, but the rest of it's the same. There's some minor running time adjustments, but they are very minor, like a minute or two. It's not going to affect the departure times. It'll just be the times on route or the time at the arrival point.
Thanks,
Great,
Ed.
thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for answering that. Oh, I also do want to add, there is a lovely video that we produced regarding all the activities that Mr. Bashadny described about cleaning the buses. It's our welcome back video. So that's available on fairfaxconnector.com. If you'd like to take a look at that, it just gives you an idea about how hard people are working behind the scenes. So if you'd like to be more, get a little more introduced to the system, that's a great way to do it. Any other questions from the audience? Those who are just joining us this evening?
Kayla, this is Tom. Just wanted to reiterate the importance of feedback from the public.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are, if they like what they see, we definitely want to hear from you. If you don't like what you see or you think we could do improvements to what has been presented, we definitely want to hear from you and from your neighbors and coworkers, family members. So please, please interact with us one of the ways that are shown on the screen here, and encourage others to do that as well.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Oh, I see we have somebody in the chat button, but we prefer that you ask us questions in the question Q&A box. But it looks like it says, will these slides be shared with us? So yes, this whole presentation is being recorded. It will be available and posted on our website. In addition, I'm going to review some of the ways to provide some feedback. This information is available on our website at fairfaxconnector.com. So you can go there and view this presentation for the July 2021 service changes. So yes. And then I see another question. Recommendations are approved in March, and if it's approved, when will they be implemented? So Stuart, or someone from the planning team, I know we say July 2021, but do we have sort of a target date that we could provide them?
Ed, what is the service implementation date?
Oh, that's a really good question. It might be.
Hey, Ed, this is Mike. Mike
you.
Falchow. Sorry, I've been sitting here listening. The target date was going to be July 4th, but because that's a national holiday, it will most likely be moved 1 week prior or 1 week after. So it's either going to be, we like to try to start services on the weekend so that all the drivers can get used to the routes before they start operating it during the rustle and bustle of a normal work day. So it will either be 1 week prior to the 4th of July or the week after the 4th of July will be the days that we can start. And I'm just looking in my calendar right now to make sure I can give everyone an actual date. We're looking at right now the weekend of the 10th or the weekend of the 26th of June. So it's either going to be one of those two. We simply don't want to hit into the weekend of a holiday. There can be some issues with that. So we're just trying to do that at the moment. So hopefully that answers your question.
Let's see here. Actually, can everybody just mute themselves a little bit because we can hear a lot of background noise. All right, I have another, let's look, I'm trying to see what came through in the chat. Apparently somebody is still asking questions in the chat and I can't quite see it. Could that question be answered or asked in the Q&A section, please? Just and not the chat section. I just can't see to pull it back up again. Something about the same. I just caught a couple of words before it disappeared. Anything else? Anybody? Any other questions? All right, well, I'm not seeing any more questions from, oh, here we go. Once public comments are closed, there could be no changes to the proposed route change, correct?
This is Mike Felcho again. Maybe I could answer that question. I'm assuming what this means is once we close the time period of January 28th, 22nd, are we stuck with what we have? What we're gonna do is take all the feedback from the survey, the emails, all phone calls that we receive, and we're gonna evaluate and see what kind of modifications we can make. And at that point in time, we're going to start moving forward with implementation. It does take some time to get these things situated and evaluated and the buses done and the drivers trained and get everything all set. So there's a limited area of public comment, but we're always open for additional comments. We're always looking for additional comments. Once the buses are on the roads, we start evaluating them right away. And then we watch the comments from the public. If we need to make future adjustments, we are open to that and we would do that. Hopefully that helped.
Yes, just to build Michael's comments, we evaluate all routes after they're implemented. We do that after every service change just to see how they're running. And part of that evaluation is customer feedback. So we hear from the customers, we hear from the bus operators. We actually look at the buses ourselves out in the field to see how the service is operating. And subsequent to that, we may make changes in a following service change. So it's not just a one and done situation. We will work to be looking to improve these routes as we move forward.
Stuart and the planning team, we actually have one more question. And I think what the participant is wanting to get at is they want to make sure that the Fairfax Connector 835 will cover exactly the same stops as the 29W. So in other words, are we just going to put our flags on the same signs that Metro used?
I can answer that. The answer is yes.
Great. I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that. I hope. Any other questions for us this evening? Before I go through these feedback and next steps for all of you.
This is Mike Felcher again. I just want to thank everyone who did show up tonight. And once again, the January 22nd, well, that's not too far off. It's enough time for some people to, if you don't think of your question now, feel free to submit a question, go online, complete the survey, call us, email us, I will tell you, our team reads every single email, every single letter that we get. We'll go over the online survey, looking for any ways that we can refine the plan. This is a plan for you, and hopefully we can make the adjustments that make the service better than what you've had in the past.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Stuart, and thanks to all of you who joined us this evening. Another participant actually didn't have a question, they just had a statement and they wanted to say thank you for your effort. So we appreciate you as residents joining us this evening. I'm going to review a couple of the last items. We've now essentially come to the end of our meeting. A recording of this meeting will be available on Fairfax Connector webpage at fairfaxconnector.com in the next day or so. Any questions that we did not get to tonight will be responded to directly to the participant or posted on the study webpage. But it seems like we got to all the questions that you asked. But as Michael said, if you didn't think of what you wanted to say, you can certainly do a few things to get that information to us. You can submit feedback online. So if you were still too shy to type tonight, you can go to the Fairfax Connector webpage and fill out the survey. The survey link is here, but for more easier access, you can just go to fairfaxconnector.com and you can look right there on the webpage. We've got a couple of spots for you to link to the survey. You can also email your comments to us at fairfaxconnector@fairfaxcounty.gov. You can call us. We are available by phone during regular business hours at 703-339-7200. We also have the TTY service as well. So if you need that, you can reach us at 703-339-1608. There's that number there, or if you know someone who might need that. You can also mail your comments to Fairfax County Department of Transportation. In this case, you want to put care of transit planning and you want to put public comment July 2021 service change. So we know we've got lots of things going on at the same time, and this way we know it's specifically for that item. And that's at 4050 Legato Road, Suite 400, Fairfax, Virginia 22033. Again, our comments, any comments will be due by 5 p.m. on Friday, January 22nd of 2021. So you've got a few more weeks to do that. And please pass this survey link if you know someone who else might be interested, a neighbor who used to ride the Metro bus route or is looking for alternatives to start going back to work again. Feel free to share this information with them. So again, comments accepted through Friday, January 22nd, 2021. Are there any last comments from our planning team that you'd like to add before we say goodnight to our attendees?
I'd just like to add that, this is Stuart, but I just wanted to add that I appreciate you all coming to this meeting because it's through public input that we make a better system.
And Tom, did you have any last words for our attendees this evening?
I think Stuart said it very well. Your input is very important to providing the best bus service that we can provide here in Fairfax County. So we welcome any feedback that you have, and we'll use it to try and improve the service provided now and the service we'll be providing in the future. So thanks again for taking the time this evening.
Well, that concludes our meeting, everyone. Thank you so much. I do want to give a quick plug. We've got some public meetings next week on our transit strategic plan. You may be seeing some things, or when you go to the website to take this survey, you'll notice that there are some WebEx meetings next week that might interest you as well. So please feel free to join us for those meetings. And we really appreciate your input. So again, thank you for your participation tonight. We hope you all stay well and stay safe. Have a good evening.